Oh.
Why your JFA?
Go figure.
Why AJ?
Everything's already on. Got one eye. One eye.
I see him.
One
I
eye.
see.
One eye. One
Got
eye.
3 eyes. Hello, everybody.
Three
I
eyes.
see y'all. Well, I see the eyes. Don't be putting your fingers
We
in my
got 3 eyes.
face. You know, 4, 3.
What's up, Dennis? Merry Christmas. And a happy Christmas.
Welcome to
Happy to be
YAJ.
here.
Welcome to YAJ.
All right, get it started, Veronica Rose.
Well, hello, everybody. How are y'all this fine evening?
Come on.
I'm getting to the page. Don't be rushing me. What's wrong with you? All right, what if? The question is, if you had to choose between reading a book or watching the movie based on the book, which one would you do? Well, there's a book that I like and I read. I read all 3 of them. And then when I watched the movie, don't get me wrong, the movie was good, but it didn't portray the book. And I'm not a reader, so, but it was good. So, but anyway.
I like all the movies that's about survival, end of the world. I love all movies. Except for, I could care less about that shit. Who cares? You have all these movies about damn love, and what really does it pan out? Some might give you good advice, and some of them don't. I'm just telling you.
Well, it is what it is.
I mean, especially, look, here's the thing. As always, I love my grandchildren and my children. And Merry Christmas to everybody. And whoever's birthday's today and from the 19th.
I hear you, Dennis.
But
Dennis said happy football night.
Yeah.
The Dolphins and the Raiders.
Who's winning?
No books, no reading. Gotcha. 8:15 kickoff.
Okay. All right. The reason why my story is, basically today after Christmas is because, Veronica Rose and I was shopping and we were just looking around for some stuff because I wanted a bathrobe, which Walmart does not have. So I ordered it online. But I happened to walk up and I was just standing there waiting on her. And an 80-year-old guy approached me and he just had a conversation. I saw him when he was walking up to me. He was already struggling. He was just telling me about how he had bad health and how he's 80 years old. And, when you get older, back in the day, you didn't kind of pay attention to old people. He's like, ew, old person, get away from me. But as you get older, you start listening to older people. And as I was listening to him talk, he made some great points. He was an 80-year-old white man talking to a 49-year-old black guy. And I'm just listening to this guy, and he said something that I always tell people. My home, this is not my home. I got a home, and I'm ready to go back home. And for those who understand what I meant by that, that's exactly the conversation that we had. And he was blessed to wake up every day because he asked me, he said, did you get everything you want for Christmas? I told him, yes, I did. I said, I got sleep because that's something I don't get on a regular basis. 365 days a year is sleep because I'm working. And as we were talking, I didn't know Veronica Rose was behind me, but she could hear our conversation. He went from talking about Trump to Black Lives Matter. And I'm just sitting there just listening to the guy. And he had brought up some valued points. And the thing that I'm trying to get to y'all is, what are we going to do after the new year? What are we going to achieve after Christmas? Because if you had went out today, you would have saw that there were like 4 accidents on the highway already. You would have saw that there's a lot of people, even though they got their mask, but everybody's shopping and standing in a line in the customer service to return shit.
Somebody said the older you get, the more you pee. And age is just a number.
Yeah.
You never get older, you get wiser.
Yeah. But after a certain
Yeah, you get wiser after you get much older.
right.
Then you realize that all the things that you got mad at or frustrated at was so stupid. And then you look at your own kids
Mm-hmm.
and you're going, you know what? It's not worth it.
No. I looked at this old man or this young man, and I told him, I said, you know what? He asked me, and I told him, I said, look, man, I understood where he was coming from, because this is why when we are talking about all this stuff, and I'm trying to tell Veronica Rose, it's not the perspective of a Black person, it's the perspective of what they do. And the perspective of, you got to look at it like when we watch these shows on TV, and I'm talking about court TV, you hear that there's this dude, and I'm not going to say a color, there's this man who dismembered his parents, and his trial is 3 years compared to a Black person who was allegedly involved in a crime, and his trial lasts maybe 1 year. Convicted, 20 years to life, 25 years to life, whether they had evidence or not. And when I was telling her the story about that boy in Texas that they just recently did on court TV about how he killed 6 people in 1 day, vehicular manslaughter that he should have got. He should have been in prison for quite some time, but he got off because of his lawyer. Had that been anybody else, doesn't matter what color you are, it's poor and rich. Doesn't matter who you are. If you have no money to have a good attorney, you're going to spend that lengthy time in prison.
Enjoy, Dennis.
What do we do after this? What do we do? Because you can cry about COVID-19, you can cry about the Taliban, you can cry about everything that goes on, but what are you going to do? Educate our people, just like I'm trying to educate you. It's not what I read on internet. It's a book. You're trying to find out what makes you as a human being better than what you were from last year.
Well, let's see. I got gray hairs. I'm going to be a grandma.
Yeah. But
And
are you going to be that same person that stands in front of a young person and tells them about, you should be counting your blessings? We're going to have that conversation with somebody one day.
what, to count your blessings?
That you're happy
Hey.
to open up your eyes in the morning.
Hey, as long as I can get up and breathe and be able to see my family every day, I'm happy.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to deal with drama, as long as I don't have to deal with, stress,
Mhm.
I'm good.
I looked at Veronica Rose, and when I was done with the conversation with this young man,
He turned around and was like, oh, you're
yeah,
there.
you were there. But I said he wanted somebody to talk to. I just stood there and listened.
But it was kind of cute the way he came up, because there was an older lady
Mhm.
right there next to the movies.
Mhm.
And I was on the other side, and I saw the man come up and stop, talk to him. I just kept on walking and
Mhm.
looking at the movies and all this, that, and the other. And the older woman was looking at the man, which I was surprised he didn't look at her, but he was just talking to him. And, I heard him talking about, how he's got problems and he's been through a lot of things himself in lifetime and stuff like that. He says that he has pain, but you know what? As long as he can get up every day and he's good, he's happy.
Mhm.
You might deal with pain in your life,
Mhm.
and I mean bodily pain.
Mhm.
If you can get up and have a smile and move,
Exactly.
the problem is there's people out there that are in pain, and I'm not knocking pain, because trust me, I've got my own pains. But sitting down hurts worse than getting up and moving.
Mhm.
The more you move, it won't hurt as bad. As I said, as bad. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt, but it doesn't hurt as bad. Your body needs to move more than it does to sit and relax.
Right.
Because the more it sits and relax, the more you're doing what I'm doing, is eating and drinking and eating and eating. And that's not good.
I'm gonna tell you what. And January 1st, I'm gonna make some challenges for myself. And the whole thing about this, and like I said, you're getting ready for the new year. We already know what my new year's gonna be like next year. We already know. What is your new year gonna be like? See, the reason why it's going to be a challenge is because the simple fact is, look at 2020. 2020 had the most iconic year that in my lifetime that I can remember. And believe me, there have been some iconic years.
But as far as our generation, as far as at
Yeah.
my age, this is the biggest thing that's happened.
Right. Who I thought you couldn't get no bigger than 9/11, but this 2020 has topped it all.
Yeah.
Because you had a virus, remember, you still had some,
You had virus, you had riots, you had
it all. You had
fights,
everything.
you had,
You had it all. And like I said before, and just like we say all the time, we as the people can only change what you allow to change. We already know that they're not going to change many things. We got that. Just like, you saw that out of the 26 people that he pardoned was the crew that they put supposedly in prison behind all these charges. Well, it's kind of funny how you still got people in prison who hasn't done anything or who've been railroaded. They're still sitting there, who didn't commit no crimes, but still sitting in prison with lengthy sentences. You still got them sitting there. People, open your eyes. There's a whole new agenda about to happen, and you're going to get swept up in that typhoon that is going to happen. You think 2020 was the beginning? It is. But now you're about to see this typhoon that's about to come your way, and they're doing it under it, like they said, the undertow. What happens at the undertow? You get swept up in that water, and then you can't get your way out. What's the first thing you do? You panic.
Yeah.
All they got to do is take one thing from you, that's your livelihood, and you start to panic. See, that's the beauty of being Black, because we get thrown so many damn obstacles that for me, it becomes normal. So what is there to panic? The only thing I panic about is what? Not having a job. That's it.
Well, that's kind of slim pickings as of right now, too.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about it is, guys, like I said, this is why I didn't have to give a speech, because the whole thing about it is Christmas is the thing of giving. What are you going to give to start off the new year that's going to help somebody else? You don't have to save the world. All you got to do is help one person who helps another, paying it forward.
It's kind of like when you go to Starbucks and one person pays for the person behind you, so that person pays for the next person behind you, and it just does like a train.
Right. Right. Oh, by the way, and someone told me, "Sir, can you put on your mask?" I'm not going to tell you where I was at, but I can tell you like this, where we were at, and I looked at Veronica Rose and I said, here's my thing. I pulled down my mask so I can talk to this lady about the transaction we was having at the cashier.
Or you're having difficulties.
Difficulties, yes. And out of all that monstrosity that was going on in this place, no pushing carts, people just standing around, cashiers don't know what they're doing. I mean, it was chaos in this place. But out of all that chaos that was going on, the one thing she focused on was my mask. That's why I brought this story up.
And you talking about that, well, after the lady that was the manager decided to do the transaction and got together, I still owed a little bit of money. And I'm still waiting for the cashier that was there before that. She's over at the next register helping that girl. And there's this guy beside us sitting here looking around like, who's taking over? I'm like, I don't know, but I owe the money. But,
right.
If I'm going to sit here for a long period of time, not that I don't want to pay for my stuff. I mean, I paid a big majority of what I paid for.
Right.
I only owed $1.13. But still, it's like, come on. And like you said, no carts.
No carts.
No carts on
whatsoever.
Either end of the store.
People standing around, but nobody going out to go get it. But worried about a mask that I already had on. And the only thing.
Yeah, he had it on, and then he pulled it down to talk, and then all of a sudden he had it down to wait, talking that and more. You need to pull your mask up. Well, you know what? That's fine. He didn't argue. You know, we're not going to argue about it. We're going to do it, but I'm more worried about getting this transaction done so I can get out of here.
Bingo.
Just sit here and worry about the mask right now.
Bingo. There it is.
That person had their mask on, you're covered. Okay. I know there's a lot of people that are out here that are
Refuse.
worried about, you know, getting it, and they have that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You know, and you ask, I'm going to do it. But the thing is that you're covered with your mask. Okay. You are covered.
Been covered.
It's not like we're trying, and we weren't even that close.
No. You know, because they got the little bulletproof shield right there.
Bulletproof.
To that note, people,
Yeah. Have a good night.
don't forget to wear your mask. Damn, if transactions don't go well,
Why
just
you
don't
can't
wear
do
your mask.
YAJ.
Okay, we're done. It's over.
Freaking people, man.
Yeah. Y'all have a good weekend.
You can have 2 rows. Once that says God devil, and people still go towards the devil.
Well, they want to see what's on the other side.
Oh, they can. But see, one
Then
thing.
they go running like,
Oh, I didn't know it went down here. He said, no. Let me build this wall so you never go back over. You chose.
you do.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to.
Especially if some people, they come back. They tell you don't go down there because once you go, you don't come back.
Exactly. Holla.
All right, y'all. Have a good night. And Dennis, you have a good time at the football game.
Welcome
To
Anybody else that
YAJ.
watch, have a good weekend, and we'll see you on
Welcome.
Tuesday.
to YAJ.
Oh.
No.